After a tough battle against USC in California, the Spartans look to bounce back in Lincoln, taking on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Our defense will be weakened as we did lose Wayne Matthews III in that game against USC. However, with the injuries, I still think the Spartans have a shot to get the W here. Welcome. My name is Wade. You're watching another edition of DHN SPORTS, where we focus on sports betting specifically for Michigan teams. In this video, we're making some picks and predictions for the Spartans and Nebraska game that will take place on October 4th. I know we're a bit earlier, but the early we get to what odds we may want to play, the better. So, with that, let's dive into this, guys. Aiden Childs and the Spartans offense must continue to produce at a high level. I'm looking at the numbers, and this is the most points we've scored in the first 5 weeks since the heyday 2021-2022 season. So offensively, everything is looking good. Amari Kelly has risen as the number one receiver. As you can see here, 21 receptions, 317 yards, averaging 15 yards a catch. Going in, everyone believed that this was going to be Nick Marsh's role, and I still think it's his role. It's a great thing that we have a couple of receivers now that can take some of the reps away from Marsh once after he catches one of those big 50, 60-yard bombs, right? So, Amari Kelly, after 5 weeks, is emerging as the number one receiver. But I want to show you the numbers as a team overall, guys. Let's go over here to Big Ten team scoring rankings, offensive production here. In the Big Ten, Michigan State currently sits ninth right now, just under Michigan. But specifically, what I want to point out to you are the 8 rushing touchdowns and 9 passing touchdowns. So when Jonathan Smith was at Oregon State, I was looking at his numbers, not in the first year, but the second, third year where things began to really turn around. One of the things that he instilled in his team was a well-balanced offensive attack. Remember, Coach Smith is a former quarterback, so he has a deeper understanding of just how potent a balanced offensive attack can be. When you look at other teams, for example, Michigan, with 15 rushing touchdowns and only 2 passing touchdowns through the air, you can clearly see where their offense is leaning into. And I don't blame them. Bryce, Justice Haynes, Jordan Marshall. Yeah, if I had those guys on my team, I'd be running behind them as well. To that point, we got some very powerful rushers for the Spartans as well, Brandon Tulis and Mekhi Frazier. Now, even though Nebraska, let's look at Nebraska's numbers here, number one ranked passing defense in college football right now. But take a look at the rush defense. Ranked 105th in the nation. So, ladies and gentlemen, this one was clear to me that we're going to run the ball down their throat. And if we don't, then somebody is not looking at the same statistics that I'm looking at. The reason Michigan was able to put the kibosh on Nebraska was because of the running game. Nebraska played, let's pull up their schedule here. They played Cincinnati in week 0. Cincinnati put up 89 yards on the ground. Akron put up another 115 on the ground. Houston Christian almost put up 100 yards on the ground. And we already saw what Michigan did. So this is clearly telling us, from a betting perspective, Nebraska is weak against the run. So it would make sense to leverage our running game when you go to make particular choices. Now, at the same time, we are in the betting world. So we also have to be aware of what the public may be thinking. Chances are the public may be seeing these numbers as well. And if that's the case, what you want to do in that situation is you lean on Kelly. You lean on Marsh. Because if Nebraska is aware of their own weakness and they go to manage the running attack from the Spartans, Jack Velling, Amari Kelly, Nick Marsh. All right, must I continue? I firmly believe Nebraska is going to have a very hard time stopping us. I truly believe that. And to that point, for that reason, I'm leaning on Mekhi Frazier and Brandon Tullis. I would say each one of them can score a touchdown apiece, and don't be surprised if Aiden Childs runs it in for a score as well. Now, because the game is October 4th, a lot of the sports books haven't placed any lines or props up for the game yet. So I'd write this down. I'd take a note of this. One of my props that I'm going to play in that game is a 3-leg anytime touchdown. Tullis, Frazier, Childs. Anytime touchdown. So whether Aiden passes the ball to them or they just run it from scrimmage, that's why they call it anytime. And I'm making that selection because of those numbers. Nebraska is weak against the run. And in the last 3 weeks, they haven't found a way to address it. You were supposed to address it before you played Michigan, and you couldn't get it done against those weaker schools. The rest of the season is going to be pretty bad for y'all if you can't manage that. As it stands right now, though, it gives us an advantage. So, because Nebraska is weak against the run, I am leveraging Brandon Tullis and Mekhi Frazier, as well as Aiden Childs' scramble ability, to see them get into the end zone. A 3-leg parlay on them three, we don't have the odds for yet, but I can guarantee you it'll be over plus 1,000, especially if you stack them together. It all depends on your risk tolerance. So again, those are my picks. I'm riding Aiden Childs, Brandon Tullis, and Mekhi Frazier in this game. Nebraska's defense is not stopping the run at all. They let Akron almost get to 100 yards on them, and they blew them out. So, to that point, I don't see any other way to go. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Again, my name is Wade. Thank you for watching another edition of DHN Sports Bet. Stay tuned, because next we're going to be previewing Michigan's next game, and they're taking on a Wisconsin team, and I can tell you, it'll be much the same story, because Wisconsin is even weaker down the list than Nebraska when it comes to run defense. So my picks for that game are pretty much the same. But that's all I got for this one. Again, thank you, be blessed, and I'll see you in the next one.